Hello, my movie minions. Jason Emmett here, and today I want to talk to you about what could have been. It's crazy to think about comic book movies and how they've come so far. I think Superman from 1978 was one of the earliest adaptations to hit theaters that really made people think, hey, this might be a thing we could actually do. And yes, there have been other films, but it was, I think, Batman 1989 that really set the stage for where movies based on comics could go, because it made all the money. Now, unfortunately, in the 90s, it was crammed full of horrible attempts to get comic book movies out there. We had a few decent entries like TMNT, The Rocketeer, The Crow, The Mask, Men in Black, but so many entries just didn't hit. And I think it was because of how incredibly goofy they made them. They didn't quite understand that they needed to be a little more serious with the plot lines. Bad writing, bad acting, bad budgets. Blade, 1998, that one took another leap forward, and we received a more serious look on a comic book character. It was also the movie that opened the Marvel doors wide. Now, that was New Line Cinemas, because at that point, the Marvel-produced films that we're used to weren't really a thing. And it had a decent budget, just under $50 million, and it grossed $132 million at the box. Then in 2000, we were hit with X-Men, and thus begun the Fox era of Marvel. The budget on that was like $76 million, and it raked in $296 million. 2002, we had Blade 2, Men in Black 2, and of course Spider-Man. And it was at this point that we now have New Line, Fox, and Sony, and they've all delivered us hits. Now, Spider-Man's budget was $139 million, and it grossed over $800 million, which is probably why Sony is holding on to certain Marvel properties, as tight as they can. 2003, we had Hulk and X-Men 2 and Daredevil. 2004, we had Blade Trinity, The Punisher, and Spider-Man 2. 2005, we had Elektra, Fantastic Four. 2006, we had X-Men, The Last Stand. In 2007, we had the Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, Ghost Rider, and Spider-Man 3. And then came 2008. That's when the MCU began. Iron Man hit theaters, and that was everything. After that, we received all the Marvel goodness we have received thus far. And of course, they've made deals with Sony to get Spidey involved, and eventually Disney, who operates the Marvel films, bought out Fox, thus obtaining the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four, Daredevil, Elektra, and Deadpool, which is what's going on currently with the whole Deadpool-Wolverine thing. So we now know the MCU that we have currently. But I wanted to tell you guys that we nearly received an entirely different Marvel universe. Because I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know this, and I thought it was kind of cool to kind of show you where things could have gone. Now, we have this image here. This is from a convention where a guy in a Spider-Man costume was posing in front of a marquee of planned Marvel films. And I want you to check this out. 2004, The Punisher, Spider-Man 2, and Blade Trinity. Now, all of that happened. But look at the mention of Man-Thing. We didn't see that character until recently in Werewolf by Night. In 2005, we did get Fantastic Four and Elektra. But we see Iron Man back there. And I guess this was maybe supposed to be the Tom Cruise-led one, which was talked about for a long time. But of course, that never happened. And then in 2008, we got Robert Downey Jr., who I feel was meant for the role. So it all worked out. But we do know that there was talk of a Doctor Doom film at one point, and Robert Downey Jr. was actually considered for the role of Doom. 2006, we see the third X-Men movie, which was The Last Stand, and we see Ghost Rider, but that didn't actually hit until 2007. We also see Namor. This is interesting because Namor, who we have now seen in Wakanda Forever, that seems like a really risky character to be giving his own movie. I'm curious if there was a script, and if so, what was that script like? I want to know what the story ideas were for these movies that we never saw. I'm interested if any of that, fell into what we did receive, or if it was just all of that was scrapped and we got all new stuff. Now, the ones that they have upcoming down there are also very interesting. Obviously, there's one we just can't see, and I would love to know what that was. That 2, most of us believe, is Daredevil 2, and that would be the Ben Affleck Daredevil 2. I will say this, Everybody didn't like that movie, but there was a director's cut that was actually really decent. I don't know why they didn't go with that. They cut some stuff out. A whole storyline got cut out, and they changed his relationship with Elektra, and the director's cut is just much better. If you have a chance, watch it. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Now, we know they had a planned Silver Surfer movie that eventually morphed into a spinoff after the second Fantastic Four, but it never happened either. They were also planning a Nick Fury standalone movie. Of course, Spider-Man 2, which we did get, and Deathlock. Again, that would have been a bit more obscure character, but Deathlock is kind of cool, so that would have been really neat to see. And then we get a Captain America film, not the Chris Evans one. Remember, at this point, Chris Evans was still playing Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four movies. So again, how much of that script landed with the Captain America we got, and how much was scrapped, or did any of it? I really want to know. Now, compared to what we have now, some of these movies aren't that exciting, but remember, the MCU wasn't always around, and with these movies, there were rumblings of crossovers and team-ups, so the groundwork was starting to exist. Now, I think had the path not been laid out, all of those hurdles and stumbling blocks had not been navigated, our MCU that we have today just wouldn't exist. Maybe in another universe, this is the Marvel timeline that actually happened. Who knows? Anyway, just a fun Marvel that could have been video made for you, the amazing movie Minions. Guys, I thank you for checking out the channel. If you have not done so, if you're watching on TikTok, please check us out, The Movie Mix, over on YouTube. A lot more content over there. Please do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share, guys. For those of you who have done that, thank you so much. It means the world to us. We hope to put out more content and give you all the breaking news and all the fun stuff as we hear it. Until next time, guys, watch that Daredevil director's cut. Let me know what you think, and stay awesome.